Welcome to 5RoundMMA. We are back with the fully loaded episode. We discuss UFC 161, talk some World Series of Fighting, and an interview with Invicta Fighter Jodie Esquibel. Please welcome Alex Ramirez and Albert Cita.
Thank you very much, our producer Guillermo Cita, for the awesome introduction. Should be an action-packed show again today. This week got plenty of fights, two main fights this past weekend, World Series of Fighting, some UFC, all that good stuff. We should have a great interview with Jodie Esquibel as well. But as for
5RoundMMA first.
A woman fighter, right?
Yep.
We get too many girls around here, so it's exciting. We got a good girl to talk to. But for right now, Guillermo, what do you got for latest news and headlines?
Well, let's bring up the biggest news of this week was this Anthony Pettis out versus Jose Aldo.
The funny part is that our 5RoundMMA analyst Alex Ramirez already wrote an article about why didn't they do this sooner? You know, when the iron was hot, why didn't they strike? And look what happens. You gave it too much time for something bad to happen, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, supposedly it's a slight meniscus tear on his knee. Korean Zombie's going to fill in for him.
That's pretty much because nobody. Was Ricardo Lamas booked already or what?
I'm not quite sure, but I'm not going to disagree with it because you have a named fighter. I mean, Zombie has a zombie following.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, it sucks that
Yep.
the super fight.
Yeah,
I think the year of the super fight's not really kind of panning out.
It's actually the year of the non-super fights.
Yeah.
It's panning out.
So.
But the only good thing is that Pettis, I guess, now has the choice to pick between 155 and 145 again.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think he'll choose?
I think he's going to do the 155 just because he already has a win over that champion.
Yeah. I think less cutting weight, right? So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so now let's stay with the health, problems. We have Renan Barão actually saying he's healthy now, bringing Eddie Wineland.
Well, again,
if he wants to fight, go ahead.
Iron is cooled down. I could care less.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, if they want to do it, do it. I can care less if they do. Though.
I mean, I think UFC desperately needed Renan Barão on this past weekend's card because this card was kind of a stinker.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if he can fight now, go ahead and fight. I'm sure the happiest person is Eddie Wineland because he's itching for a shot. Because if longer he was out, then that means that gave time for Renan Barão and Dominic Cruz to be even, to be healthy at the same time, and then who's screwed out?
Yeah,
Eddie Wineland.
That bantamweight division.
Well, no one's talking about the bantamweight. That's the problem.
Pardon my pun, the phantom weight division. All right.
So then we got the last headline. Phil Davis has no pressure fighting Machida. That the pressure is on Machida.
Actually, Phil Davis needs to go and do his homework. The best wins Machida has are over wrestlers. The best performance Machida has is over wrestlers. Machida has been a top 5 his whole career. Phil Davis has barely entered it. So if Phil Davis needs to go and do his research, because the pressure's on him, all right? Machida doesn't have any problems keeping it standing up. It's Phil Davis that has a problem going to take him down.
Yeah, but I think Machida needs to do a strong showing to be considered a top. Or to at least face John Bon Jones. No one wants to face Machida.
He already won 2 number 1 contenders. Who does he have to beat? If as far as I'm concerned, he can clear out the whole division before fighting John Bon Jones.
Yeah, but no one wants to fight Machida the second time around because all he does is run away. I mean, like Dan Henderson brought it up yesterday.
That's a difference.
Running away is different.
It takes 2 to tangle. If you can't come and get Machida, that's your fault. All right, he's fighting the way he needs to fight. So,
and after Rashad Evans' performance on Saturday, who else is he worried about in the division? I mean, other than Glover Teixeira,
he's not going to fight because they're training partners and good close friends.
I mean, I think he could come away with a decision victory over Phil Davis and still be in line for a contender shot because there's nobody else in the lineup. But wasn't
Machida the number 1 contender and he got skipped over?
He is. He's ranked number 1 in UFC.
How many number 1 contender matches did he have?
2.
Basically,
and he hasn't fought John Bon Jones. So
John Bon Jones
tells you everything.
That's a different thing.
And Machida actually passed up. He's like, you know what? I don't need to fight for the title. I'll fight again because he knew that a Dan Henderson performance. No, I'm sure he wasn't he was satisfied with it, but people were talking. Okay, no, give me somebody else then. I'll prove to you guys again. So
for the 3rd time.
Yeah, but
keep going. I mean, you can do it.
At the end of the day, Phil Davis needs to worry about Machida, not the other way around.
Well, at the end of the day, even if Machida beats Phil Davis, he's not going to beat John Bon Jones. You saw what happened in the first fight.
Well, we'll cross that.
We'll cross that path later. But
well, that's it for news and headlines for today.
That's it? Ooh, it was a heated one. Wasn't that?
I can't talk about Machida because it really upsets this guy.
That's the Karate Kid, dog.
I guess so, yeah. All right, so stick around, guys. We'll have Invicta's atomweight Jodie Esquibel with us, so stick around.
All right, everybody, don't miss a beat. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at 5RoundMMA, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and always check out the website, 5roundmma.com. Honey Badger pre-workout energy drinks gives you the energy you need to do the extra rep, to get the extra set in. No shakes, no jitters, just pure energy. Find out for yourself at drinkhoneybadger.com. Drink fearless, fight fearless.
Drink fearless, fight fearless. In this corner, brought to you by Honey Badger, we have Atom Weight Invicta Fighter Jodie Esquibel.
Hey, Joe, this is Alex Ramirez. I want to thank you, first of all, for taking the time to speak with us. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for having me.
No problem. I guess we'll jump right into it. Can you tell us about your athletic background and like what was the decisions that made you start training and fighting mixed martial arts?
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Funny story is I was like a cheerleader doing jazz dance and kind of doing dance competitions a little bit of gymnastics, and then right before I went into high school, my parents were kind of like, hey, we need something. You got to do something. Stay busy. Stay in the right crowd, and you got to figure something out. Because I was already getting to the point where I didn't want to dance anymore. I played a little bit of soccer, and then walked into Mike Winklejohn's kickboxing gym and wanted to try some. It was more just along the lines to stay in shape and not. I didn't have the intention initially to fight. I wasn't like searching for a gym. I want to fight. I'm mad. I'm aggressive. It was more like I want to stay busy, stay fit. And so I walked into Mike Winklejohn's gym at the young age of 14, and I've been at that gym ever since.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Jodie, this is Albert. And speaking about your gym, you guys actually have some pretty incredible fighters there. You have one of my all-time favorite fighters, Diego Sanchez, there. Can you just speak about the gym and how it's like training with these stars? And is it intimidating? It's not only just being a woman, but just an MMA fighter in general and seeing all these superstars.
Yeah, you know what? Just being, you're right about that. It's not just being a female and trying to hold your own. It's man, practice. I'll tell you what. Any given day you walk in there, it's any MMA fight fan, any MMA artist, anybody that walks into that gym, it's a good day no matter what. We have an extremely talented team. I mean, the best team in the world, and how do we not elevate each other to a new level every time? And I think that's why we say the best. We're training with the John Joneses and the Diego Sanchez, the Cub Swansons, the Ikes, and we can go on every weight class, there's somebody.
Yeah, I know. Aside from being a mixed martial artist, you also are a paramedic firefighter, correct?
Yeah.
Can you tell me how aspects of that profession has helped you in your MMA career and kind of vice versa?
You know what? It's been a blessing, and that was something that I knew that I always wanted to do when I was young. Was I wanted to be a firefighter. I guess it comes down to really having an adrenaline junkie problem, but I've acknowledged that now, and I feel like I've unhealthy outlets through this, being on a fire truck and fighting and being able to keep that energy positive, and it's helped me a ton. It's all about being prepared, and working hard. So I work hard. I went through the academy. I know that I could hold my own with all the guys, and that's another thing to prove myself that. To be treated as a firefighter, not just as a female, I really had to work above and beyond with everything, and so there it transfers over. I'm working above and beyond, not just in my personal life, but as in my personal MMA career, my firefighter paramedic career. It's just being prepared and being able to deal with the situation when you're there.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. And you're a kickboxing / stand-up specialist, but unfortunately in your last fight you lost by submission. What have you done as far as training to better prepare yourself for being in the ground? And is there a specific jiu-jitsu coach you've been training, or maybe a specific way you've been training on the ground?
Yeah, you know what? Of course, at first when that loss happened the way it was, I wasn't grateful or thankful at all. But I am now, and it was definitely a humbling experience. I know that I should have won that fight 9 times out of 10, but not that night, and it definitely exposed a lot that was going on, and I do have a strong kickboxing background, and honestly, I kind of did the cheat, I'll learn how to sprawl and get back to my feet type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning when I tried to transfer over, and you know what, these girls are just all around amazing, and you're not going to get away with cheating it anywhere. And so with that, I brought my happy little butt to a jiu-jitsu class at Gracie Baja in a gi and a white belt and started from the very beginning. And I'm training out here with the best guys, Professor Tusa and Professor Barata. I mean, they're world known, and I'm really rounding myself out, and I feel good. You know, I feel great about it. I think it lit a new fire underneath me, and I'm able to. Before I would pick going to boxing class versus jiu-jitsu class naturally because it was easier for me. It's easier to take the way you're not going to get beat up, but now I'm in jiu-jitsu all the time and wrestling, and I feel good. I feel super rounded out, and I'm grateful for that loss, believe it or not, but I am.
Yeah. Speaking of your last fight, your last two fights were only separated by a few months, but before that, you had almost waited a year in between fights. Can you talk about maybe the aspect of kind of waiting so long to get in a fight, but now with Invicta, almost getting be a fighter on a regular basis?
Man, it's a dream come true because in that year period of time, you probably have a fight scheduled, and and then you train. And you diet and you get beat up, and then all of a sudden it's not happening again. And then you train and then you diet, And now with this, Invicta has just changed the world of women's MMA, and you got to be ready all the time. You got to stay ready. You got to just keep getting better, and that's a beautiful thing.
And then you previously fought in straw weight, and then you moved down to atom weight. But now we have a lot more fighters in atom weight. Can you speak more about that division and why you think you're the best at 105 pounds?
You know what? The funny thing about fighting at a heavier weight was just because I couldn't find fights at 105. And now it's like, man, these girls are coming out of the woodworks. They're coming from Australia. They're coming from. It's crazy. This division is stacked, and I'm glad. I'm glad. I mean, holy crap! There's a lot of girls out there that I want to beat. As far as being the best in the division, I just I know that I can round myself out to be. I'm the best. I'm one of the best strikers in the division already, just because of my background. And if I can just concentrate on rounding myself out a little bit better, it's going to be hard to stop me,
Yeah, and Invicta 6 is just around the corner. It's going to feature Chris Cyborg. Can I get your thoughts on when she first signed with the company and like kind of the publicity she brought? It's kind of almost like I don't want to say a bidding war between Invicta and UFC. And do you think that was like good publicity or bad publicity?
You know what? I think it was great. At this point for women's, I shouldn't say that. There's some bad publicity, of course, but for somebody to be choosing Invicta over the UFC, wow.
Point. Yeah.
That's huge. For her to say, you know what, this is my home, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to fight for the UFC. Like, that's just crazy. I think that alone just made a stand,
And then women's fighting is like pretty much the Wild West. I mean, there's a first for everything. I mean, just today, you're the first woman MMA fighter we ever interview. And with that said, there's a first women's Tough Enough about to start with Misha Tate and Ronda Rousey. What's your thoughts on that show and just being the first? I mean, there's a lot to be the first of everything now.
Well, first of all, it's an honor to be the first woman that you guys have had on, so thank you.
No, thank you very much for coming on.
Second, I think that, and to be honest, I think that the women are saving that tough show.
Oh, yeah.
What episode is it even? Like the first three, we had Diego on the first one, Keith Rashad, all those guys came off the early shows, and then, man, it's been a lot of shows, and I don't know for sure. I don't know the numbers, but their ratings have got to be down. And now you throw Misha Tate and Ronda Rousey in there, those ratings are going to boost. The show's got this new livelihood to it. Everybody wants to watch it. Like, I think women saved that show,
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, definitely pump some new blood into the veins of the Ultimate Fighter. One more question before I let you go, Jodie. How quick do you want to get back in the cage and fight?
Oh, man, I'm ready today. I went to jiu-jitsu class this morning on Sunday. It's Father's Day. That's the thing, it's just with Invicta, it's changed the sport. And for a good thing, I would like to even take a boxing match to stay busy and maybe do some tournaments. Like I just want to be active. I want to be the best out there, and I want to be proactive about my career. So if I could get on the next Invicta card, I'd be super pumped. I know that's probably going to be in October, but if I could fight before that, I wouldn't be complaining.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go. Before we let you go, you want to give a shout out to anybody?
Just, you know what? My team, I train with the best team in the world. I have the best coaches in the world, Greg Jackson and Mike Winklejohn and Brandon Gibson helping me with my stand-up. And I wouldn't be here without my team. We have a pretty strong women's MMA team as well with Julie Kidsing and Holly Holm making the switch over. I mean, I'm in good company, and I just thank them and my manager Sandro from Vegas. He always takes care of me, and I feel really blessed with everybody, my family that puts up with me. When I'm dieting and pretending that I'm in camp, and I can't seem to do anything else but concentrate on camp. It's like the whole world's going to stop, and they're really supportive, and I'm just blessed. I really am.
Okay, well, there you go. It's Jodie Esquibel. You can follow her on Twitter at Jodie Esquibel. I want to thank you again for taking the time to speak with us. Keep us updated. We'd love to have you on again in the near future, and best of luck.
Yeah, anytime, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Jodie.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
If you're an MMA fanatic, make sure you're wearing the proper MMA gear. The Madhouse clothing line, MMA all day. Go shop, themadhouse.com.
This Friday, we had World Series of Fighting, and the only notable matchup was John Fitch actually getting choked out. What do you guys think?
That was disappointing. I guess if you're a John Fitch fan.
If you're a John Fitch fan, if you own stock for World Series of Fighting, that was all bad.
And any credit for Josh Berkman, Alex?
I think he has to. He's on a roll. I mean, just because you're the top welterweight in a World Series of Fighting was really kind of put you in the pecking order. I think I don't know if he'll beat Ben Askren in Bellator, to tell you the truth, but
I'm gonna tell you right now, Josh Berkman deserves zero credit.
Why is it?
I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. John Fitch already has the win over Josh Berkman, right?
Yeah.
He's coming from the UFC to this B Division World Series of Fighting, technically, right? Okay, in his mind, I bet you in his mindset was, okay, I already beat this guy. I beat him. I choked him out.
So he didn't train? Is that what you're saying?
I think his mental, and then the whole Dana White issue that was going on, I think mentally, he thought he was just going to go in there, do work, and then continue on his streak. Yeah. So I think mentally, he was never focused for this fight, right? That's one.
Obviously, he got choked out.
Yeah, he was never mentally
out.
focused. Yeah. His second problem was he got the ugliest haircut known to man. He tried to rock the mohawk. I don't know who in that camp told him that he can rock a mohawk, but he can't. AKA needs to go see TriStar Modeling Agency and figure out how to do some hairstyles because that was horrible. And if you don't look good, you don't feel good, and you don't fight good.
So percentage-wise, you blame the bad haircut, lack of training, or just mentally not there? What is like 99% haircut, 1% not training?
I would have to say 50% was the haircut, and the rest was the mental attitude,
fashion and style.
Alex, what do you think about the stoppage?
Wait, before we leave it, I think that's the key to Rory McDonald's success.
Yeah.
He looks good.
So he fights good.
Oh, my God.
So it's Mazzagatti that took too long to actually end the fight. It was actually Josh Berkman that actually stopped the fight. What do you think of the stoppage?
Well, Albert's the biggest supporter of Mazzagatti.
Well, okay. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest supporter, but I thought they were blaming him a little bit too much. But then after seeing this fight, there's no way you can protect Mazzagatti. Yeah. He was literally over the whole thing. He was staring at John Fitch, and if it wasn't for Berkman because right away Fitch went limp. Berkman acknowledged it. He's the one that let go, and it did a kind of cool thing where he let him drop and pose on top of him. But Mazzagatti was there the whole time, but never once did he go in to try to check him. Yeah. I didn't see him really. I guess he assumed that John Fitch was going to get out.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to put my conspiracy theorist hat on. You think maybe before the WSOF told John Mazzagatti, if Fitch gets in trouble, give him every opportunity he has to get out, because he was a big free agent signing. I hate to think that the World Series of Fighting is going to go the route of Strikeforce and Elite XC and Affliction, just sign all these guys by name, and when they can't perform, the whole company goes down with them. I hope to think they're smarter than that, but they put a lot of money in John Finch, and he lost his debut.
That's an interesting conspiracy, and I cannot accept that nor deny it.
Yeah, there you go. But
well, then right after the fight, John Finch says he wants an immediate rematch. What do you guys think about that?
well,
no.
Conor Albert needs to get a haircut first,
Yeah,
and then we'll talk about rematch.
Get his haircut first, and I think he needs to stay mentally focused. So I wish they give him somebody else so he can, get that focus back up, his heart back into it.
Is that what it is? Does he think he's like, oh, none of these guys can pose a problem for me?
Yeah, I mean, come on, look at his record. After that, and only fighting top tier fighters, and then you take a step down. It really affects you mentally.
So what should he go to maybe to a different camp maybe because he's been with AK so long maybe it's just come so routine for him that you know what I can just do this. It's obviously not working for him. Obviously not because he got fired from the top division. I mean the top promotion. Now he can't even get a win in the World Series of Fighting. I mean no discredit to Berkman. Yeah, but I mean come on. John Finch was the second welterweight in the world for about what good 3-4 years, and now look where he's at now. This is a complete fall from grace for him.
You're
so
right.
I mean he needs to change something in his life.
Something drastic if he wants to stay relevant.
Yeah.
Either camp change or weight change.
He's only relevant for losing. That's not a good thing.
Yep.
So what's next for Josh Berkman?
It's called
shot, right?
Yeah.
Give him a title shot.
Give him the title shot?
He obviously.
Sadly, I don't know any other welterweights from World Series of Fighting.
I
But
think they just
give him
sign
a title
guys
shot.
on. They
Yeah.
don't have like an official roster. They just you want to fight. I mean, they just sign guys out of the
So
blue.
with John Finch's performance, this brings up a good argument. Quentin Rampage signing with Bellator. Do you think something similar to that aspect where he's not mentally there because it's not the top
Especially
tier?
with him, 'cause
Rampage wasn't mentally there 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's more of like
it's been a work in progress as far as getting his mental strength back into it.
it's more of an entertainment deal,
Yeah.
right? Because he's wrestling, he's going to be on Spike reality shows and original
Yeah,
programs. so.
to tell you the honest truth, I could care less, and nor do I care that Rampage is in Bellator, and Bellator should think the same thing too. Go get your money, Rampage, and that's it.
He even said too he doesn't want to take part in the tournament.
Yeah,
so,
see, there you go.
I mean, just
Get 2 more checks, man. See if you can make it in the movies
So
again.
interesting signings for these guys. So we'll see. But is that it for World Series of Fighting for now?
Yeah, that's the recap of Friday's events.
The big news on Friday was John Finch being choked out. So stick around, guys. We'll have a review of UFC 161, Sugar versus H-Bomb. See who won and who came out. Stick around.
Honey Badger pre-workout energy drinks gives you the energy you need to do the extra rep, to get the extra set in. No shakes, no jitters, just pure energy. Find out for yourself at drinkhoneyBadger.com. Drink fearless, fight fearless.
This Saturday, we at UFC 161, Sugar Rashad Evans versus Dan Henderson, the H-Bomb. Any undercard highlights, guys?
I got 2 undercard highlights.
Jake Shields, right?
No, we're gonna go lower than that.
You weren't impressed by Jake Shields over Tyrone Woodley?
I mean,
they said Tyrone Woodley would destroy Jake Shields, knockout guarantee.
I seen people use the wrong type of tissue paper, do more damage than what Jake Shields did that night. So, anyways, let's get to the Phantom division here.
From earlier.
Yeah.
But we had Roland versus Edwin. They both respectfully have good records and respectfully are good at 2 different things. Roland being good at submissions, and Edwin good at stand up. So you had 2 guys, both were after this. Roland's 9-1, Edwin's 9-3. But the only reason I want to highlight this is again, they need to keep putting new fresh faces on bantamweight and keep cycling these guys. Roland being, I think, the biggest one that they need to cycle because he's in a 4-5 win streak right now. He's a submission specialist, so that means you can match him up pretty interesting in the bantamweight division. So that's the one I wanted to point out. For
that fight was very entertaining, but at the end of the fight, did you see his face?
Oh yeah, well,
I mean, yeah, he clearly won the fight because of the
Not the
ground
face
game.
of a contender
But I
or
mean,
what?
those shots were hurting him, and at the
that's
end
what
of the fight,
but that's what his specialty is
at the end of the fight, if he said he won the fight,
they
no
would've
way.
believed
Took a picture like vote who won this fight. Just by
What's the other bout or other fight?
It was actually in the lightweight division.
lightweight division?
And the only reason I bring this one up, even though that is a stacked division, I still feel for Ben Henderson to be one of the greatest champions ever. He has to constantly pose new threats.
Yeah.
Rather than maybe cycling over and over
same
and
type
over.
of fighter over and
yeah.
over.
So the one I went and put out was James Cross, who actually brings a very interesting aspect to the lightweight division, which is a long reach compared to other fighters in that division.
That's true, yeah.
So even though Benson Henderson drops him a big weight to get to lightweight,
Yeah.
the reach is something that that's completely different in that
Well,
maybe
doesn't
can be
Nate
explored.
Diaz have a reach?
Nate Diaz. Please, you have to have intelligence to use the reach.
Well, I mean,
So-
me and Alex were talking about this earlier. How Benson Henderson pretty much cleared the lightweight division.
That's why I bring up James Cross. He's 20-4. He's on an 8-fight winning streak. You gotta keep this guy active. Give him a top 10, and then maybe he'd be next in line after maybe Pettis and TJ Grant
or the return of BJ Penn.
Yeah,
Maybe, yeah.
And then other than that, I mean, I guess we could discuss Tyrone Woodley and Jake Shields.
Well,
That's the very next
obvious-
topic.
Yeah,
All right.
we have to.
Let's get to that. Jake Shields, Albert.
Okay, well, like I told you, he was out there touching Tyrone Woodley like if he was his boyfriend. So
And
apparently,
there's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
oh yeah, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. I'm all for gay marriage, but I'm just saying it wasn't a fight as far as Jake's field bringing it. Tyrone Woodley was throwing some big bombs in there.
I was waiting for the knockout
But
any minute.
apparently the judges saw Jake Shields touching him more than Tyrone Woodley punching him, because that's what it really was. It was Jake Shields. That's why I got mad when I saw the report of who landed more, whatever.
Yeah.
They should have put down Jake Shields touched Tyrone Woodley like 112 times out of 112, but Tyrone Woodley punched Jake Shields this many times, because that's what it really was.
Yeah.
And the only thing I have to take away from it is that Tyrone Woodley body structure was a big difference. I mean,
I felt he was gassing out.
Yeah, if he was a lot leaner, I think that fight would have been different. He would have been able to execute his power more if he would have leaned out a little bit. He can even drop another weight class, I thought.
Yeah,
if you really think about it,
yeah.
because of his size and stuff. But I think his problem was his weight. I mean, his muscles, which I think he can fix. He's 31, so he has to fix that ASAP. Luckily for
Fix
him,
his age.
no, I mean as far as he has to start really don't wait 2 fights to start changing up your diet. He needs to start right now. The only good thing he's 11-2, so he doesn't have he still has a pretty big winning record.
Yeah.
So he can still feed them to the wolves as it is.
So what's next for each one of them?
Well, I mean, I wrote on the preview on the website that Jake Shields was going to do exactly this, because he needed to win desperately, and he wasn't going to take any risk at all, because he's coming off suspension, so he needed to win, and he did what he did best. He won, but he didn't win any fans. I mean, I don't think even the front office of UFC said, "Oh, Jake Shields is back, baby." Yes.
Well, there was already an article saying Jake Shields versus either Eric Silva or Tariq Saffiedine. But
Please give him Eric Silva, and he'll teach you how to fight.
I mean, you want to take him Jake Shields isn't supposed to threat to anybody anymore. I mean, if anything, he'll be like, I think he's still a dangerous fight because he could expose somebody's wrestling weakness. But as far as title contention, I think that ship sailed from a long time ago. I mean, the lead fighters, you can't. I mean, he got busted for drugs, and he still can't do this. So I don't know. He hasn't evolved enough. He's still doing the same old Jake Shields, same old story. Move on.
Okay, so let's move on to the main card. We have Sean Jordan versus Pat Barry. Pat Barry, TKO.
Oh, Pat Barry.
When is he gonna drop down weight? That's all I know.
I really hope this was a wake up hit. That look, you were able to hang for a while, but it's just ridiculous for a guy his size to be in the heavyweight division. He belongs in light, maybe even middleweight division.
Yeah, he's only like, what, 5'10", 5'11"?
Yeah.
So what's next for Sean Jordan?
I think it's a rematch with Chet Congo. That's his loss in the UFC.
Inside or outside the UFC? Because Congo is kind of in
oh,
right now. Yeah.
It's Chet Congo. So,
if Chet Congo signed with the UFC.
Yeah, that's true.
So now we got the next fight after that. We had Albert's boy, Ryan Jimmo, defeating Igor Pokachev.
And I really thought Jimmo was going to come out a great performance too, but he was disappointed by his performance too.
He was even mad about his own disappointment.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what I don't get is these guys know during the fight how bad this is. Why don't you kick it up? But I blame this more on the camp, just to show you the Black Zillions were able to make an exciting fighter into a boring fighter.
Yeah.
I think it has to do everything to do with his camp and who was in his coach that day. Yeah. Because obviously he was not mentally there. Obviously his stamina wasn't there, and he didn't want to let him go. So that's what
coming
happens.
into the UFC at 17 wins. He lost his first fight, won 17 in a row, like all by knockouts.
And then his first UFC,
James Tahuna just outrises him. So
yeah. So
Ryan Jimmo, I was excited for him, but I think he's a lot more.
I really wish he would switch camps.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the next fight. We had Stipe Miocic versus Roy Nelson.
I think Miocic just might have sent Roy Nelson his walking papers, right?
I think that's exactly what he did.
After Roy Nelson's winning streak?
Yeah. Well, this was, in case you guys don't know, this was Roy Nelson's last fight under his current UFC contract. So this was his tough contract.
Yeah.
Coming to an end, and they actually put him in this fight short notice to get his contract obligated already. So that pretty much says they want him out as soon as possible.
Yeah,
So I
think
mean, and it lost.
Why is that? What
Come
do you
on,
think?
now,
he has had issue with Dana White
since day one.
That's one.
The first episode of Tough, Dana White. I don't like this guy. This guy's ridiculous.
Despite his record and whatever, as someone looking from the outside in, do you really want that guy representing your sport the way he looks?
Yeah, and also too, when it comes to fighting top 10 combination, Roy Nelson, he
goes flat.
I mean, he could be like a good gatekeeper. Like, okay, if you think you're a serious contender,
But there's plenty of other gatekeepers he could put instead of Roy Nelson.
Frank Mir's who beat Roy Nelson.
Yeah.
So, but I honestly, unless he wants to take a drastic pay cut, which I don't think he will, I think his days in the UFC might be done.
Yep.
Wow. So what's next for Stipe Miocic?
Well, the heavyweight division is kind of open right now as far as fighting amongst each other.
His only loss was against Stefan Struve, so I mean, he might want to revenge that one.
It might even match up because Stefan Struve's probably about
Is he even a threat in the heavyweight division?
No, because Stefan Struve already beat him. So that should tell you right there and then where he's at.
I mean, I remember when he first came out, this guy's like a protege of Crow Cop, so you thought, but then
Stefan Struve,
that's a big blemish on your record, Stefan Struve. So, but who knows? Maybe the right matchups will come on.
So let's move on to the main event. We had Dan Henderson, the H-Bomb versus Rashad Sugar Evans.
This fight was basically, I think, Dan Henderson trying to come back into title contention. Right?
Yes.
But I thought what was more on the line for Rashad Evans was his reputation as a fighter.
Yeah.
And which is sinking bad. And I think his reputation has fallen even harder after Saturday's performance.
Yeah, and the Black Zillion needed a winning check.
Yeah.
Real bad, so.
But, I mean, Rashad Evans came into the UFC, won the Ultimate Fighter, made it look easy, didn't he?
Yeah.
I thought...
and in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, and he dropped down, got the title like that. Made it look so easy, but which is why people probably didn't like him, because it came so naturally, so talented. It came so easy to him. But then, like, has he been the same since his loss to Machida?
No.
I'm not just saying that to a Machida fan, but has he been the same after the loss to Machida?
It's all been downhill since Machida.
I think he's just scared after that Machida
He's more reserved. Like, just look at the Nogueira fight where he lost.
Yeah.
He just wanted to touch. He wanted to win.
Yeah.
He didn't want to finish.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing, I don't even think he's 100% bad, because even in Dan Henderson, I think he was a little bit scared to commit to certain combos, and I think he was scared to commit to actually fighting Dan Henderson.
Yeah.
You got the H-bomb lurking, but I think he still could have done way better.
Yeah.
But he did just enough to win.
But doing just enough to win, what do you see next from him? I mean, like...
For Rashad?
Yeah, for Rashad. I mean, like...
I don't, but, like, this is a win, but it's like...
Do you give him any credit for this win? I mean, like, Dan Henderson was
Dan Henderson has one strategy,
contender.
That's keep this hand over here, and if you get close enough, I'm going to unleash it.
So, like, okay, so obviously Henderson was kind of critical of Rashad Evans, and he's super critical of Machida, but, like, how's that his fault? I mean, like, everybody in the building knows what the game plan is for Dan Henderson. Mm-hmm. So why would a smart fighter even go anywhere to the left side? I mean, so... How's it? Dan Henderson, these guys don't want to fight me. Well, no,
they just don't want to get knocked out.
Yeah. So it's like this kind of fight, this main event didn't really solve anything for any fighter, right?
Yeah, I think it left more questions than answers.
Yeah.
We still need to see if Dan Henderson still has it at his age, and we still need to see if Rashad is capable of being a contender again.
Yeah, because now, like, going back to the earlier conversation, after Gustafsson and Jones, and if Machida wins, there's really nobody else now.
Yeah. So
I wish Glover Teixeira would fight Rashad Evans, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. He might now. Who knows? I mean, obviously, I mean...
And Dan Henderson, I mean... I think you should just play a bunch of gimmick fights with him.
Yeah,
put him on heavyweight, middleweight. Just pick a big name and put him with them.
Because there's no smart contender out there who's trying to get who's going
to fight. There's no one that's going to want to trade and bang. Only a guy that's trying to make a name for himself or wants to keep his...
Like Shogun,
Yeah, that's why.
Those two guys who didn't care, like, okay, they made their money, our names are still famous enough, let's don't
That's
call
who
on the
you
show.
have to find for Dan Henderson.
But a guy like Rashad Evans has so much
People
to
that
fight
have
for.
Machida
who has so much to fight for still, they're not going to go in there and go stuck on the left side like Michael Bisping did, so...
I mean, just look at what Brian Stanton with Vanderlei. Brian Stanton thought he has something to prove there, and he stood in bang. Look what happens.
Well, now
but yet I'm saying you have to find fighters like that.
Yeah.
For Dan.
Well, there's still some. I mean,
I'm not saying
Silva.
But I think as far as
give him Taylor Silva.
Yeah, there you go.
Chael Sonnen, the winner or loser out of the Rua Chael Sonnen fight.
Chael Sonnen's gonna just fight everybody in the UFC.
Yeah.
Might as well.
But I say Dan Henderson versus Thiago Silva, and I said Rashad Evans versus Glover Teixeira.
That makes sense for Glover, anyways. You beat Rashad.
There you go. Who else?
Yeah.
Who else do I have to beat?
Yep. Is that it for today?
Yeah, that's it for today.
Everything needs to be said. We said. So make sure to follow us on Twitter at FiveRoundMMA. Subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube. Like us on Facebook. We're also on Instagram now, so like our photos there. Also check out the newly remodeled FiveRoundMMA.com. A big thank you to our guest this week, Jodie Esquibel, and an Invicta Fighting Championship. I want to thank our sponsors, Honey Badger Energy Drinks. Go find out for yourself what all the hype is about. Honey Badger. Go drink honeybadger.com. No shakes, no jitters, just pure energy, right? And also thank the Madhouse clothing line. Go shop their awesome clothes at themadhouse.com, and also Top Rated MMA, 100% American-made MMA apparel. Go see their stuff at Top Rated MMA. Albert, you got some final words?
I just want to thank our executive producer, Guillermo Cita, our sound engineer, Ollie the Trolley, our technician, Big Game. I would also like to thank our interviewer today, Jodie. I mean, I think it's a significant thing that we had our first women fighter, and I'm glad it was her.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank everybody else for listening.
Thank you, guys.